everybody, and welcome back to 327 Motorsports. Probably a lot of you don't need an introduction to this lad here. This is LMS, last match standing. He goes around all the derbies and he does paint work on the cars. Does an excellent job, as you're about to see and probably have seen. You know, he's on Facebook there. Check out his work. Good guy. Does go mobile, um, all over the place. So you need any needs, like he's not limited to cars. He can probably do bedroom walls, solariums, anything and everything. You name it. You want something done for your kids, power wheels, you name it. He's a man of all trades. He's the last match standing, so think about that. He's even protecting himself. He looks like Darth Vader right now. And as long as you don't tell me, Sean, I'm not your father, it's all good. Anyways, I'm going to shut up, let the man with the plan do his deal. I asked Matt if he wanted a microphone. He says, no, don't bother me. So I said, okay. Yep.
This is something new. Done time lapse before. This is the live stuff. So no pressure, no pressure.
Well, if you're like me, that'll be the time you do your worst work. Make people question.
Send cease and desist over over footage.
See, we had to get her primed up there.
When I come in a bit closer there, Mike, you'll try and speak a little bit as I go. But a lot of graffiti work, like, I'll get a lot of people saying, "Oh my God, like, not to sound full of myself. Oh, I don't know how you do it. Like, you make things look like uniform or things agree and all that." And really, all it is with like most creative stuff is just screwing up quickly enough and then fixing it. Because all that matters is the last thing that you put on the car.
Oh, I do that every day.
Exactly. We all do that, right?
Yep.
We all act like we know what we're doing, but really we don't.
We call it editing. This is just live editing.
Exactly. So, and this is very much like I'm not somebody from downtown graffiti alley or anything like that when it comes to Toronto. I apologize. Probably, I guess I should wear a mic there, but I just started doing this, and it's I think one thing that you wrestle with when you're trying to start something new, or oh, you know what, I've been meaning to do this. You, well, you overcomplicate. You think, oh, what do I need to do to get started? And really, I you just start doing it. This is something that I first learned or first saw Jason Sauer, most wanted fine art, doing out of the States,
Mm-hmm.
and you just screw up, but
Grow
you
with it.
keep going along,
Yeah.
you know. And like my style, self-taught. There's certainly folks that are more polished than I when it comes to an actual graffiti style. I kind of like incorporating a bit more of the traditional hot rod kind of thing
Nice.
to it a little bit,
What's,
but really it's just getting started with it, and you get a bit more comfortable as time goes on, right? So
yeah. Well, the hot rod style certainly comes into play with this being, it's an old Chevelle.
that's the thing, right? Like,
I know I'm probably going to take flack for this. If it's a Chevelle, it's not always a hot rod. Haha.
well, it's more of a hot rod than my poor little center there, but
Well, that's it. That's a chick magnet,
that's right.
right? Actually, it don't matter what we drive today, Matt. We're the chick magnets.
That's right. It's not. It's just the fool behind the wheel, right?
Yep, that's the most problem with a lot of cars is the nut that's attached to the wheel.
What's that one they say is a failure between the steering wheel and gas pedal connection or something like that? They say
Yeah.
usually the driver error.
So is that a special kind of paint you're using?
So I use, and I'll show you here. Anybody can get this stuff. It's from a site called bombingscience.com. This brand is Dang. It's more on the cheaper end of things, but when you're getting into motorsports, really, it's the best thing that counts, right? You can get a can of these. You can get cans of these for just shy about $8. They're the same 400 mil as one you get in a hardware store, but the pressure's lower. And I use matte specifically because it's more of just pigment as opposed to the gloss. Because
It's not a name thing.
not a
Give you a man.
yeah, one of those cheeky little things, right? So if you're saying if you're in Derby, you can probably coat a car, maybe a compact car, and maybe 4 cans of this. So if you're not someone you have the paint gun and all that sort of thing, the compressor, you could pretty much get a car coated for about, I want to say, $44 or so when it comes out to it. Nice. And it's just plain cans of black. Well, the mistake that a lot of guys make, especially the guys that do the flat black traditionally for Derby and things like that, is they'll get these big turbo cans. The pressure's so high in them. You've experienced this too.
I know. I painted one out back and mistakenly left it in the sunlight too long.
Yeah.
So there's pressure already. I painted 3 vehicles at one time. Right?
Yeah, and then the shop wall behind you, and then the next car over in the parking lot. Yeah. Don't even need that. There's larger cans that are 600 milliliter, but they're still low pressure. They seem to work pretty darn good, even with just the stock cap. I switched these up, so this is a number 2 Montana. I use this for smaller stuff, and then I'll go one step further with a number 1 for the really small stuff. Usually you can spray up to about, I want to say maybe 1/3 of an inch really closely without a significant amount of overspray, so it's really helpful to do writing, really helpful to do detail, that sort of thing. And again, so much of this too is these are the caps that work for me and the style that I work with. Might not necessarily be for you, right? So some people like to work smaller, they like to work larger, things like that. All it is just buy some paint, find a piece of metal or something that you're allowed to paint on, and just go for it, right? And that's so much of like things these days is you get stuck asking for permission or stuck asking what's the right way to do something. Just try it and be willing to make those mistakes. Make calculated mistakes, right? Don't go spray painting somebody's shop or somebody's so and so or any other private property or anything like that. I'm not saying commit a felony. I'm just saying make a calculated risk and make mistakes.
Nice.
You know?
So it's nice being lower operating pressure too. That's how you can control it more.
Bingo.
Instead of that turbo can in the heat. But a lot of guys, when they're painting, they'll literally heat their paint can so the pressure increases.
Yeah.
Maybe so they can blast it on quicker, but
And I mean, especially this line of work or this line of entertainment that we do is, I mean, yeah, if you have the time in that to make multiple passes, but if you have a high opacity paint or like a bitumen based paint, you can just do it in one hit and you're done, right? Like, it's enough to be at least be presentable. Oh, thank you. Now, how were you feeling? Did you want to even go a little bit further with the style, Sean, or was this kind of blocky but will accentuate it a bit more? Just the general shape right now.
yeah, no, I think that's good the way it is.
Okay.
If you wanna, you know, are you gonna do like an accenting color black?
Oh, for sure. Like I have the black here. I wasn't sure how it was going to pair. I brought along the vivid orange, but I think it might. Given this is, I'll do like the detail black and then work in some grays for a bit of a metallic kind of style, without doing actual metallic paint because I find that stuff never lasts. So.
Or hangs on a body line.
Yeah.
Guys, you got to understand here too while you're watching that. Clearly, you can see the platform of the car. Shit, it's banged up. So I mean, you know, you got to understand. He's not working with a car that's, you know, pristine. This was raced 30 years ago, taken off the track, abandoned basically, for lack of a better term. And then I brought it home, and I was gonna redo it, but I left it. I'm like, nope. No old Tom there, you know, that's the way it was, that's the way it's going to be, that's the way we're taking it. Hopefully we don't add any more character to it, but you know what's going to happen. So, you know, understand, like I said, you can clearly see that fence right there. That's not bronze, that's character. That's banged up. I mean, she's been probably rubbed more walls than, you know, 3 drunk guys on a Friday night, but anyway, it is what it is, so. The man knows what he's doing. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's hard to beat a man at his trade. I'm a little bit artistic, but I'm more autistic than anything. So when it comes to patients, sometimes doctors have more than I ever.
Yeah, and I'm kind of the inverse. Just in that getting more engaged with motorsports and derby, like coming out of the pandemic around like 2022, and just now I'm getting more comfortable with working with hand tools and things like that because that's just something I wasn't brought up with all that closely, but I was always into the arts and I was creative. So it's nice now to say, like, even just this week, 4 years ago I was scared to even touch hubcaps on a car or change a battery or anything like that in a car, and I just did my first alternator job. Right. So it's just you get more get more comfortable and acquainted with these things too. Like I didn't even know what a pair of side cutters was. It was just really elementary stuff that, especially if you're in the motorsports world, you just take for granted. Of, oh gosh, I've known that since I was like 8 or 10, being with my dad or being with my uncle or grandfather working on the car. And I'm sure you two know exactly what we're talking about, right?
Yep.
But it's just one of those things. You get started, you get acquainted, and I don't know, you stop feeling, I don't know, scared or uncomfortable with it. You just get a chance to work with it more.
So doing that down with that color, is that like showing a different contrast?
Yeah, so just to go with a bit of, call in arts, you call it like a gradient, or I guess a term I've used, I guess, for ladies doing hairstyling, we call it an ombre. But it's just to get that scale in and kind of fade things together. And then what we'll do once we get close to finishing off is we'll do a nice stark white outline that'll kind of give it a bit more depth. And then, of course, and like we were saying with what matters most is the end result. Then we'll cut back. We'll do a cutback and get rid of some of that overspray and things like that, and add in the black, and so it's nice, crisp, and good contrast, especially for circle track when you're along the back stretch. You're hundreds, 150, 200 feet away. Yep. You need to be able to read that number fairly quickly, right? Yep. So you need that legibility, and that's something that I felt with more traditional graffiti writing when there's kind of the goal with a lot of getting this wild style and things like that is you decrease legibility, so you have to stare at it and really take it in, which is a nice touch, but not something that we're going after when it comes to motorsports. We need quick identifiers, right? Everybody knows like their favorite. Everybody knows what the Tide car looks like that Ricky Craven drove, and generations before, right? It's that you know exactly what it looks like. It's crisp, it's clear, it's to the point. You remember that. So. I think this is red. Let's see how it matches up. Not bad. So like I was saying before, when it came to, we started out doing that line work and then started blocking it out. Did that 3-2 low. Sean, you were saying that we're going to be putting that that checkered strip along the bottom there and working the motorsport stuff. So, all right, well, let's clean that up. And just cover up your mistakes. Nice. And it's like, I knew full well, too, like, when we first did them, you know what, I did that 3-2 low and stuff like that. Well, you just fix it. And that's, granted, pretty rich from someone like me who I used to torture myself over every little mistake I made, especially when it came to creative stuff, but you just don't get any you don't get anywhere with it. So don't beat yourself up.
No, Lord knows that there's enough people around that'll do that for you.
Yeah, you're right.
Especially in the derby world.
Oh yeah. Well, this day and age, it's tough, right? Yeah, like it's easy for the pressures to get a hold of you because cars are more expensive, life is more expensive. I get it.
I always found for the most part, and I'll probably take flack for saying this, and you don't need to agree because you're around it more than
That's fine.
I am now, but I never really found the drivers to ever bitch. It was always the wives. And, your husband hit mine, or your husband isn't hitting, blah, 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 blah. Mine was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. He's out there having fun. Do the deal. Tag him. Do what you got to do.
Well, you know what?
However you want to go.
I'd say yeah, like, and I know I don't have to go out and walk the plank as far as putting my neck out there, but family too, they see the time that you put in, and you think, well, yeah, I mean, if my husband or my sibling or so and so, my son or daughter, spends all this time, all this time in the garage, just to be unfairly put on the blocks, and
You're going to answer the phone. What are you worried about? Huh? Propose.
Some folks have a hard time with drop shadows here. And it's kind of like, well, you see it when it comes to embossing and other graphic styles over the years too. Like, I'm a graphic designer by trade, or at least that's formal education. So if it's a bottom line or a line to the right, you're going to put the shadow underneath it to the right. Some people end up to get caught up and they'll put it on either side.
Yeah.
You just got to do a shift over. So if I know that corner's there, I want it to end up here. I want that corner to end up there. Sneak in a line. And again, that's where this number one cap comes in, is it's real narrow. So we're working about maybe like 1/2 inch. And a big thing to get used to if you get into spray work and things like that is where you'd be using your wrist on a piece of paper. Well, now you got to use your elbow, you got to use your shoulder. Use bigger gestures. That took some getting used to.
No obscene gestures either.
No obscene gestures. There's plenty of those already. and I don't. Not many of them are all that creative.
Like the door open there. I was thinking. So.
So put a fine line on the other edge. Over here. And we're still going to cut in, after we do this black, we're still going to cut in with a white. That's really going to bring a whole lot more depth to it. We'll show you in a bit.
So I always want to remember when you're trying to do a drop letter, trying to keep your distance that you're dropping the letter symmetrical on each side.
Yep.
So the number always looks the same size as basically shadowed, right?
Yep. And I'd say too, like, even with doing these edges, I do an inner pass because I can always add more to it, right?
Yep.
Like if you're cooking a stew, you can always add more salt. It's really hard to take it out.
Yep.
You can always add more salt.
So did I read on your wall that you recently you stepped into a derby car yourself?
Yeah, my first ride was it was in 2023, so it was only about a year in. It was appropriately the MWFA. It's like you can keep the battery under the hood, the tank's still in it as long as it's in front of the rear axle. That was 2023. I had to go some really short runs in 2024. And then recently ran Gravenhurst, since it's kind of an exhibition with Edge. That was a Chevy Malibu, and that was about 3rd out of 6. So I've been able to dabble a little bit, demo cross run here. I try to get at least one run in a year, just to stay part of the active roster, as it were. But it also gains some perspective, like since I kind of have a Derby apprenticeship role on the blocks here and there for Edge Motorsports. I try to remember, like, it helps keep a perspective and keep a bit more experience flowing in that. Remembering that what it's like to, have a red flag and a siren is, can you really hear it or not? That sort of stuff. Some guys, they lock in and they got to get some flack for it. But at the same time, you got to be fair, right? It's a lot of adrenaline. When the adrenaline's flowing, some people are hotheads, some people are,
I'm going to tell you straight up, if I seen that sucker shell where I know I can take somebody's wheel out,
yeah,
I just look the other way and don't pull it.
You're not supposed to say that.
I might as well tell it the way it is.
If the boys didn't edit that out, it's very incriminating. So maybe take that tip for yourself as well, eh? What red flag? What are you talking about?
I didn't see no red flag. Maybe it was
you got to get bigger flags. They're too small in the blocks.
Being that, derby drivers, mechanics, maybe, airbrush artists, all that, we're all macho. Maybe if they stuck some girl out there in that red miniskirt, you suppose we'd stop that?
I think that we start creating some other problems there too.
Yeah. The wife wouldn't like that.
I think the manners would go out the window pretty darn fast.
It's just the same. We'd still turn our head and just keep driving on. So, at least I would.
You'd see a lot more drivers starting to wear sunglasses. And it's not for the sake of the eye protection. Well, it is eye protection, but just a different way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Reminds me, I had a couple summers working in insulation, and this was years ago. Insulation's very uncomfortable, especially when you get into the fiberglass and stuff like that. And I remember one shop meeting. It was very new. I was like 19 years old, right, and completely naive and new to the world in the first place. And they were having a meeting, and it was, oh, by the way, when you're traveling around in the work trucks, this company will remain nameless. When you're traveling around in the work trucks, can you please not catcall women? Because on the door is the logo, and how's my driving? Call this number and all this, but it's
We've had 13 phone calls about you so far.
yeah, and it's not the kind. It's not exactly impactful for a business, much like a business card or a good review. To be well.
Then again, if you were single at the point at which they were saying we've had 13 phone calls on you, you'd always hit them back with, damn, I got to turn on creative juice down on the quota here. Shit.
Let's see what we got here.
It's
Shifts
looking
to the bottom,
amazing
shifts
on
to
the
the
camera
bottom.
here, too.
You got to remind yourself, take a step back.
Yep.
One rule of thumb, especially for like aspiring car decorators and things like that I find when it comes to Derby, and is you got to remember it's being looked at from at least 80 feet away. I know with most insurance regulations, track to the first row of seats is at least 50. So you're thinking the back row, the bleachers to the opposite side of the track. Well, if you want somebody to cheer for you, you got to work big. So if you're spending a bunch of hours, I'm gonna do the latest Disney film, and I'm gonna throw a bunch of characters on there. You can even do it with just one or two per side. Just make them big. Just make them big. It has just as much, if not more, of an impact because people don't have to squint. They can see it from as far away as they can or need to be, and I don't want to say it's a whole work smarter, not harder thing because I don't think many of us enjoy or intentionally work stupid as if it were, but yeah.
Hey, I see you guys work. Why not? Any kids, Matt?
No kids. No kids. I am a proud uncle, though. Yeah, got oh my gosh, one niece by blood and three other more by familiarity, and no, they're wonderful, man. Especially if any girl dads out there, you really learn how to be, I don't know, more caring. Really softens us off a little bit, eh?
I hear you.
It's nice. It's nice.
Well, of course, in the Derby world, too, we're one big family, so,
Yeah.
Your Uncle Matt, the probably majority of the kids walking around there.
I get, you know what? I do get that a lot. Those kids are awesome, man. There's no judgment. It's just like, you know, when you need that reminder that somebody's happy to see you.
Well, when we're out there, we'll grit teeth, flip birds, drive their wheels through their motor and everything else. But at the end of it, we're out there shaking hands. You know what? After the adrenaline shuts down, we're one of the first to go over there and help the guy fix his car so we can maybe beat him again tomorrow.
Beat him in the ring, not in the pits. Yeah.
Exactly. I always drove like a lunatic. I had sponsors, but I always drove like a lunatic because you can get enough when you win all the time, you're a cheater. Let's face
Right,
it.
right.
There's no way around it. It's not just a guy who knows how to build a damn car. You're a cheater some way, somehow. So I just drove my foot. And when, the kids started coming up, hey, I remember you last year. You hit that car and did this or that. You know what? I won. That kid remembered.
That's right. Yeah.
They're tomorrow.
I got and I mean, Sean, you were probably running around the same era that I started getting into Derby. This would have been back in the late '90s. So I was born in '91.
My first demolition was '95.
'95. Because I was like, I know I recognized the last name Willigar because I just can remember Elsie Dowdle saying it, right?
I was her wolf pup for many, many years.
Shout out to anybody that knows Elsie Dowdle. She's a real one. Bless her. I hope she's still around.
When she retired, I kind of got
that was the time to make your leave, eh?
Hats off to any promoter out there today, Dustin. Don. They're all doing a good job. Ralph, he's a peanut head. Greg, he's still sniffing around the industry. Well, him and I don't see eye to eye, but anyways, let bygones be bygones. But when Elsie walked away, I kind of did too. I hate to say it, and it's no disrespect. I hope they know what I mean when I say no Elsie, no Derby. At least that's the way it is for me.
Well, she was such an integral part too.
I remember going up. I was in trade school, and one of my buddies turned around and said, "Hey, listen to this girl. She sounds like a bingo call."
Yep.
Jesus,